Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So of course you're on the Hearthstone channel, so this is going to be a Hearthstone video. Now this channel hasn't been used for a long time. I mean, our last video was nearly 2 years ago, or maybe even over 2 years ago, so it's been a while. But we want to revise this channel, bring it back to life, and do some awesome Hearthstone videos for you guys. More particularly today, we're going to be talking about top 10 most overpowered cards that were actually removed from Hearthstone altogether. Anyways, the most important thing is that you guys hopefully enjoy the video. Tell me what I can improve in the comments down below, and if you're happy about the rebirth of this Hearthstone channel, then hit that like button and let's just get straight into it. The thing is as a quick note, I just wanted to mention that all of the cards that we're going to list in this video are meant to only be cards that were either never playable or removed before any sort of open public release. This means that this list consists of card ideas, alpha tests, etc, etc. Anyways, enough blabbering, let's actually get straight into the list. Kicking us off, we have a card by the name of Arcane Blast. This was a basic magic spell and was removed during the early stages of the alpha alongside patch 1.0.03140. The card would allow you to simply deal a single point of damage and then draw a card. However, a different card by the same name actually did end up replacing it and was included in the Grand Tournament set. This version of Arcane Blast allows you to deal 2 damage to a minion and doubles its bonus from spell damage. This is very efficient and a decent mage spell. It's not super crazy in a vacuum, but with a ton of spell synergy, this was extremely strong. Sorcerer's Apprentice and Mana Wyrm and other synergies made this pretty insane. Now I'm going to plug a very quick note here. I am sorry if I butcher any pronunciation. This is a problem I have with everything. I don't know why. I can barely pronounce things that are outside the real world, so I suck with calling out names for games. So if I butcher anything, I apologize. Anyways, let's keep going. So next up we have the Boon of Elune, which isn't exactly the craziest card on its own, but has the unique property of adding 4 Moonfires to your hand. On its own, it does kind of sound lame, but it really goes hard alongside Malygos or combo decks. Notably, it was a Druid spell card that had a chance to be in the Arena Unique set, but lost to Nature's Champion. Now, like I just mentioned, it might not seem super insane, and you're kind of right, but it really goes hard along the Malygos deck, and allows for super easy and unfair OTKs. Alongside this, we have another card that goes by the name Combust. It was a Warlock spell card and had a chance of being in the Arena Unique set. It was, however, lost to Bottled Madness. This card allowed you to destroy a minion as well as deal 3 damage to all the characters. This was highly efficient for the removal of Warlocks. This is pretty insane since Warlock hero power makes efficient cards very overpowered in the class. The card itself is actually just pretty insane. Probably better that it just didn't make it. I can only imagine the insane plays that people would make. Anyways, moving on, we have a card that goes by the name Reload. It was a hunter spell card that had a chance to be in the Arena Unique set, but lost to Deadeye. It would allow you to discard your hand and draw 3 cards, and would have been insanely overpowered for players who ran aggressive decks. A lot of players would just play this with 0/1 cards in hand for easy and cheap draws in a class that uses cards very quickly. Following up the Reload card, we have Devouring Ooze. It does sound kinda nasty, but it was a minion card that was actually removed during the alpha stages of Hearthstone, so way back in the day. The Devouring Ooze was intended to break up loose streaks and encourage players to keep trying. It however didn't make its way outside of the alpha stages. Now I quote straight from the card information itself. It reads, "Battle Cry, gain +1/+1 for each game you've lost in a row." This could be conceded 100 games in a row and in turn would have been the most overpowered card ever, at least mathematically. It definitely could have created really insane and ridiculous situations, but with that being said, it's just all not that practical for use and probably is the reason why it didn't make it outside the alpha stages. I think it could have been kind of a troll fun card, but Hearthstone was built from the ground up to be a little bit more competitive and serious, so I kind of understand their choice here. Next up we have Dark Summoner, which was a neutral minion, removed in patch 1.0. 0.0.3140 and was eventually replaced with Spiteful Smith. It originally would allow the first minion you play each turn to cost 3 points less. This was a really insane tempo, pin-sized summoner before the nerf had a similar effect that was super overpowered. Reducing the cost by 3 is pretty strong. In general, mana reduction effects are just really insane. This card snowballs a small board and led to unreal tempo, really flipping the table super fast. We also had Puddle Jumper, a much nicer name, that was a rare minion card. It was removed during the alpha stages of Hearthstone and is no longer accessible. It would have allowed Murlocs to cost 1 point less. This card would have made Murlocs very overpowered. The lack of mana reduction is actually one of the biggest things that holds the Murloc archetype back. It's his key balancing stat, and playtesting with such a card like this proved that Murlocs should never really get mana reduction ever. Especially since it costs 1 by itself, it's so easy to just play all of your Murlocs with little to no mana, even with just a single Puddle Jumper. Imagine if you turned 1 Puddle Jumper plus 3/1 mana Murlocs, or playing the War Leaders and other things of that nature with this card. It just simply would be way too efficient and makes Murlocs way too crazy. For our next card, we have Adrenaline Rush, which was an epic rogue spell card. It was removed during the alpha stages, similar to the other cards on our list, on patch 1.0.0.3388. It was replaced with Shiv and is no longer accessible to us. It would allow the player to draw a card, and if comboed, would allow us to draw 2 cards instead. This is easily the most efficient card in Hearthstone ever. The value and strength this card gives is absolutely absurd. Drawing 2 cards for 1 mana is incredibly strong and just absolutely really insane. This is especially because most draw 2 cards cost 3 mana. It allows you to simply never run out of steam as you draw cards without having to give up tempo and lose pressure, especially in Miracle Rogue, which was the deck at the time. There were already so many various synergies with low cost spells, and it made the deck absolutely insane. Imagine Rogue today playing this card instead of having to use stuff like Sprint. It's just such an overpowered way to refill your hand and keep the aggression rolling. You would definitely curb stomp people just way too efficiently. Next, we have the most OP card on the list, which went by the name Mana Spring Team. It was an epic shaman minion card and was removed from the game completely. It allowed your cards to cost 1 point less than normal, and the thing is that this card was a game-winning card for any of the shaman class. It allowed the player to play cards a lot sooner than the opponent. When used correctly, it enabled a ton of infinite damage combos and was simply way too overpowered. I mean, imagine trying to play against this guy, and he goes ahead and turns around this card, uses it against you, and just starts piling damage as he can just simply play before you. It's definitely an imbalanced card, mainly probably the reason it never made it out of its early development. Anyways, moving us on to the last card we have on the list, we have none other than Death Wish. It was an epic warrior spell card and was replaced in patch 1.0.0.3388 with Shield Slam. It would have your hero lose all armor and get 1 attack for each armor lost. This meant stacking armor, and playing this card would allow you for huge turnarounds and quick wins during unexpected times throughout the match. It was ultimately deemed way too overpowered and out of place, which had it removed altogether. I mean, this card is just crazy, a card that can literally kill an opponent in a single hit. I mean, let that settle in for just a second and imagine it happening to you. Not to mention that warriors have proved that gaining and keeping armor is just pretty easy at times, and getting up to 30 armor and then slamming the opponent in the face with this is super insane. Since it only costs 2 mana, it's very possible to just gain a bunch of armor and attack with it on the same turn and play it out. I mean, just imagine how good Shield Slam already is and has been throughout time, and then being able to use that on the face is just insane. Now, I know I'm repeating myself here a little, but if we consider the slow meta days of early Hearthstone, it's so easy for warriors to gain and keep armor and build it up big time. Just having this card would force your opponents to always try to be eliminating your armor, using spells to deal face damage when you are at 50 life, and other things that just make the gameplay so unfair it's ridiculous. It's close to cheating if pulled off right. The craziest thing is you wouldn't even need to change the playstyle of the warrior deck that much, or anything else for that matter. You could literally just slap this card in the deck and bam, single-handedly win a bunch of games for free, which is kind of why I compared it to like cheating. Anyways, that's about all we've got for today. I just want to say that this is the first time I ever create a Hearthstone video ever, like write the script, commentate it, edit the video. It is a full process that I have never done before, so I kind of moved out of my comfort zone. I am kind of your new host for this channel to bring it back to life, so just let me know what you guys think about the video, my commentation, the idea of the video, what I read out to you guys. Let me know all in the comments down below. I will take your feedback and apply it to the upcoming videos, and I promise to try to make the most entertaining content possible. And if you like what I just said, then why not hit the like button and maybe subscribe so you can catch some of it in the future. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.